Chapter 9. The morning household is busy at Constantina, and Belinda gives orders about decorations and food to the staff. Defancio is sitting at his desk when Matteo knocks on the door and enters. Matteo smiled at Defancio. "Father, you called for me?" Defancio glances up from his papers. "Yes. I just received word from the master. We have much work to do and must be done quickly and quietly. We must be prepared. The wedding will take place as scheduled, but we must make our move before and immediately after. You need to organize the guards to build this design. I've arranged for our ships to be ready and have sent word ahead to prepare the grounds for our move." Matteo sits down by the desk as the planning for the event continues, along with planning for the expected attack. Leonardo starts working on the finishing touches of the wedding sculpture. As he works, polishing the beautiful face of the statue, he sets aside his work tools and walks over to the hidden alcove. Retrieving some papers, he sits down at his table and begins drawing detailed images and symbols. Eldora knocks on the studio door and enters the room. "Master, are you okay? From the sound, you seem restless." Leonardo glances up from his papers. "Just worried. There are so many storms brewing, and I can only watch the winds of time blow by. Please send Alberto in. I need his help." After Eldora leaves, Alberto appears at the door. Yes, master. What can I do for you?" "The wedding in Venice is soon. We need to crate up the statue and have it delivered with all due haste." Yes, master. It will be on its way tonight with an extra guards." In the early afternoon, a wagon with a contingent of guards leave Venice as Alberto and Leonardo watch. That night, 4 men exit the city walls and walk away, carrying packs, Yuso and Nico and 2 other men. Down the road, they are met by 2 men with horses. They all mount and head out on the road towards Venice. Late that same night, Leonardo returns from meeting with a friend. Before Leonardo heads upstairs, the guard Gabriel talks to him. "Master, I heard this evening that 2 thieves' bodies were found in the river." "Any hint if they were the men who killed Enrique?" Gabriela responds. "One of the bodies had paper on it with this street name and your name on it." Leonardo pats his friend and guard on the back. "Thank you. Well done. There will be extra pay for your efforts." Leonardo continues up the steps, slowly showing his tiredness and growing age. The sun shines brightly on this special day for the Freemason Society. This is a major event in Venice, although not known as related to the Freemasons, as 2 members of one of the key families in Venice are going to be married. The plaza is crowded as major families of Venice arrive for the wedding of Matteo and Belinda. Inside the magnificent church, Chiesa di Santa Apostoli di Cristo, the music grows and the pews fill with wedding guests. As the music swells, people rise to see the bride walking down the aisle with her father. Matteo had arrived with the priest and stands waiting at the church altar. The ceremony takes some time as the priests formally give the church's blessing to the young couple. At the end, the wedded Matteo and Belinda joyfully walk back down the aisle hand in hand as husband and wife. The couple leads the procession towards the church entrance, and soaring music fills the air. Exiting the church, the throngs of people in the plaza roar their approval. The bells in the church tower begin to ring out in joyous celebration of the marriage. Across the city, the Defancio guards are in hiding as they observe two men walking around the rooftops, marking up drawings and pointing towards areas where boats and troop attackers should move and be positioned. With the sounds of the bells ringing in the distance, signaling the end of the wedding ceremony, the two men begin to scurry away from the rooftop. The married couple move away from the church and climb into a wedding carriage which slowly drives away towards the Defancio home. Before leaving the plaza area, the carriage circles the plaza to let the assembled people see the happy couple. Around Defancio's mansion, servants scurry to put final touches on decorations and place food out for the wedding guests' celebrations. As bells are ringing in the distance, the servants pick up the pace and the musicians move into their places. Outside, a wagon arrives with a crate and a contingent of guards. One of the servants exits the mansion and directs it to one of the adjoining buildings. The guards dismount and take the crate out of the wagon, then disappear into the house. The wagon moves to enter the adjoining warehouse area. A few guests begin to arrive in fancy carriages. The servants are ready to greet them and direct their drivers to the side streets, creating a flow of arrivals and departures. With the sound of a trumpet, Defancio and Constantina arrive in their carriage, followed closely by Matteo and Belinda in the wedding carriage. The happy couples exit their carriages and head into the house for the wedding party. Defancio's guards are now visible on the rooftops, protecting the house and party-goers. In the canals, a constant stream of boats approach and depart from the Defancio docks, many leaving heavily laden and covered with tarps. 4 boats join the mix, leaving the Defancio warehouse area and sliding into traffic headed towards the outer harbor. It is late into the night, and still lights continue to glow as the party starts to wind down and guests begin to leave. With the exit of the party-goers, there are also other wagons leaving from the area adjoining the house, intermixed with the extravagant coaches. The loaded wagons are covered with tarps. In the rooms not used for the party, the home has been stripped of much of the furniture. With the last party guests gone, there is movement. The final objects are being removed and packed. The art in the areas where guests were located still remains, but in other rooms, everything has been removed. Belinda is gazing at the beautiful sculpture given to her and Matteo as she hugs Matteo. My dear, it must be recreated and moved. We'll find a perfect place for it in our new home to remind us of our loving friend and mentor. Belinda gazes at Matteo and gives him a kiss. I'll miss being able to see it, but yes, it will remind us of how lucky we are. By late the next morning, the house is almost empty. The office is now empty of all furniture and artwork. Defancio and Edmondo are in the room as Matteo enters. Father, it is so different with everything gone. Yes, the house is quite bare. Is everything ready? Edmondo responds, yes. We have been watching and their spotters arrived early this morning. Fortunately, we have finished moving everything. The master's directions are very detailed as usual, and everyone is in place. Defancio turns to Matteo. Is our carriage ready? Yes, Father. Belinda and Mother will be ready shortly to leave with us. When the afternoon arrives, 2 guards exit the Defancio home, followed by Defancio, his wife Constantina, and the new happily married couple, Belinda and Matteo. Defancio reaches the carriage, then exclaims in a loud and happy voice, "Come, my beautiful family! It is time to go to church and thank God for the blessings He has bestowed on us. It is time to give our thanks for this glorious day, this joyous marriage, and this wonderful family. And after church, we'll have a relaxing outing in the countryside." The small family group enters the carriage, and with attending guards on horses, the carriage driver leaves the home and heads down the street towards the church. A few blocks away, Matteo hugs Belinda and rises to exit the coach. With a last touch of their hands, Matteo exits and is picked up by one of the traveling guards. Belinda stares as the guards with Matteo turn down an alley to return. With Belinda being held by her mother, Defancio observes her grieving daughter. Matteo's time is now here to defend us and take on his role as protector of our family. Fear not, God is with him. With the afternoon turning into evening, spotters observe the reduced guards around the Defancio house. A runner, Dante, passes the word to activate the attack plans. Dante reaches the warehouse where Usio has the attack force gathered. Dante enters the warehouse and, with a few pointers, finds Usio. Dante speaks quickly. The guards around the Defancio house have been largely depleted, with the family having gone to church and on an outing. Usio speaks loudly. Time has come to execute the plan. Everybody, head out! The warehouse is quickly emptied of the attack force as they take their weapons and head out. With the attack about to begin, the forces organize streets away from the Defancio home as the plan moves forward. The attack force quietly sneaks through the streets. As they approach the building via the two side streets leading to the plaza in front of the Defancio house, the stealthy force can hear a set of unique sounds from above. Based on the plan of attack defined by Usio, the different teams of the attack force change their approach, expecting an attack from above and seeing a shadow go by as they maneuver into the tight alleys. The attack force edges forward, constantly looking up as they press tight against the building walls to avoid presenting a target. Seeing the armed men, the people on the streets are scurrying as they sense a fight is brewing. One small team bursts forward in a frontal attack on the plaza. With no resistance, they charge the gate as the two guards at the gate fall back into the house. The small attack force begins to press its apparent advantage and slams into the gate, attempting to break it open. 3 members of the team climb up the side of the fence and jump down inside. The men rush over to open the gate for the team. The small team charges through the gates, bursting through the front door of the home. As they burst through the doors, a man outside raises a flag and a signal to the major forces in the 2 alleys. Continuing to press their apparent advantage, the team charges into the house to find nothing. As they move into the main room, Matteo, Andre, and Defancio's guards rise up on the balcony and begin to fire crossbow bolts into the small group before pulling back into the adjoining rooms, leaving many of the small team dead or injured. With flag signal, the larger forces in the side alleys rise from a crouch to begin a charge down the alleys towards the plaza. Leading one of the allied forces is Yuso. Leading the force in the opposite alley is Lorenz. At the moment of the signal, remaining forces start to rise the charge. From the base of the buildings across from walls that each of the remaining 2 teams were pressed against, a platform that disguised the real weapon, covered and hidden in the wall. It rotated down on a pulley system. On the platforms are hundreds of crossbows positioned at multiple heights, which release a synchronized motion. The flurry of bolts released from the crossbows creates a wall of close-range death, flying at the attacking force. The effect on the larger attack forces is horrible. Most are killed and maimed, all within moments. The attacking forces attempt to recover their dead and retreat. Those still alive who can help proceed to bind the wounds of those they can save, dragging their bodies back from the attack direction. As the roof spotters pull back from the canal side of the buildings to support the attack force in the alleys, they leave a canal unmonitored. When the spotters look down on the bloody alley, Defensio's guards, who had been hiding on the rooftop, rise up and with deadly aim, kill the spotters. The spotters fall into the alley, adding to the death toll. Andre, together with Defensio's guards and Matteo, rush towards the docks. Matteo and Andre fight the rear guard against the remaining Mafia attackers. Matteo takes 2 attackers using the techniques taught to him by Andre. As the 2 attackers are slowly backed up into a wall, Matteo continues to put pressure on them till one makes a mistake, leaving himself open. Matteo thrusts, leaving him dying from a hole in his chest as the second man is startled by the move. Upon hearing a call from the deck area, Matteo and Andre quickly dispatch the last fighters. Andre quickly turns and rushes to the docks while Matteo protects his back. Throwing some empty crates in the attacking force's way, Matteo, slow, backs up. Andre yells, "Matteo, come on!" Matteo, seeing the attackers are no longer trying to break through, turns and heads for the boats. Shortly after the attack, with a signal from the roof guards, 5 boats slowly exit the Freemason building, 3 from the main house and 2 from the warehouse. With no signs of hurry, the boats move with only 2 men visible on board each. The boats glide into the main canal, where there is slightly higher boat traffic. 2 attack force boats emerge into the canal area as they realize that their signal was missing. They try to block the boats from the Freemason docks, but are only able to corner 2 of the Defensio boats. The 2 corner Defensio boats throw off their tarps as Matteo and 6 men sit up, beginning to row hard and bringing the boats to a fast speed. As they continue to row, they take no heed of what is in front of them, heading directly for the force of blocking boats. Not being able to maneuver with the lack of speed, the blocking boats are rammed and each is split into pieces as Matteo rises and uses his crossbow to take out the enemy boat leads. The remaining boats from the Freemason docks throw off tarps and a contingent of guards appears. The 5 Defensio boats row hard to enter the open harbor. The boats steer, heading towards a ship, raising its sail as it prepares to get underway. The boats leave the attackers floundering in the canal water. Defensio, Constantina, and Belinda are already on board the transport ships. As they see all the final boats headed to the ships, Defensio knows that Leonardo's plan has succeeded. He turns to his wife, showing his happiness with a hug and a kiss on her cheek. "My position is exposed, and I would no longer be of use to the society while in Venice. With my service now done, I can live a calmer and less eventful life and hopefully enjoy playing with grandchildren before I die. Besides, the French countryside will be a nice place to retire."
My dearest husband, you know your service will never be done. But I do pray for a calmer and less eventful life for our family.
Seeing Matteo waving, they turn to embrace a relieved Belinda as the crew prepares to get the small fleet of ships underway. As the small fleet begins to move out of the harbor, ships belonging to the Church of Rome emerge from different points and are blocking their way, turning their broadside to face the fleet of Defensio's ships. Defensio rushed up to where the captain is looking towards the blocking ship. "We need to pass them." "Stay calm, there is a plan. Leonardo taught me always to have a plan." Defensio looked at the captain with a questioning look. While he had led the execution of Leonardo's plan to move the treasure, he had no idea what the captain could be talking about. A voice rang out from the church ships. "Under command of Church of Rome, prepare to be boarded and searched." DeFancio continued to look panicked. We can't let them get to the treasure. We must do something. The captain looked calm. Return to your family and stay calm. All is fine. Just remember, you are a traitor moving your base of operations. DeFancio took the rebuke and returning to his wife and children. Small boats were lowered from the church ships and headed to each of the ships DeFancio owned. As DeFancio looked on in horror, each of the ships were boarded and guards spread out as the search began. The head of the church guards came to DeFancio with the captain at his side. The church is looking for illegal treasure. Can you tell me who you are and what these ships are transporting? DeFancio stood his ground, and with a glance at the captain, we are the DeFancio family. I'm moving my trading operations to the south to be closer to my major customers. The leader of the guards looked at the family with a question on his face. Stay here, we shall see. As DeFancio and Matteo stood solidly in defiance, there were flags waved from each of the other DeFancio ships as the guards began to return to their small boats and head back to the church ship fleet. After a few minutes, one of the guards approached the church leader and whispered something. The guard's expression changed along with his demeanor. So, maybe we were mistaken. It appears you're just carrying wine and linen. We apologize for the inconvenience, and you may proceed. With the final words, the guards retreated to their boats and headed back to the church ships. When the guards were gone, DeFancio turned to the captain. Are you going to explain? The captain smiled. I've learned over the years from the master. Based on his secret plan, I sent the treasure with the guards to a small cove south of the harbor. We will meet the wagons there. With the ships now able to proceed, the small fleet raised their sails and proceeded to exit the harbor. DeFancio and his small family were now safe for the moment.
Please like and subscribe the Watcher in the Fall channel.